Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rome fell for many reasons, but one of the most prominent was the collapse of its economy under the weight of many decades of reckless and ruinous spending. History warns us that nations that bankrupt themselves aren't around very long because before they can provide for the common defense or promote the general welfare, they have to be able to pay for them. And with interest costs now exceeding our entire defense budget, that catastrophe is now facing our nation in our time. Just as you cannot drink yourself sober, you also cannot borrow your way out of debt or spend your way rich or tax your way to prosperity, yet the socialists keep trying. We have to recognize these simple truths or we're going to lose our country. The federal budget, so long neglected by the Congress, is the only way to do so. Now, I don't need to dwell on how dire our situation is. Suffice it to say that socialism hasn't worked any better here than everywhere else in the world has been tried because, as Margaret Thatcher famously warned, they keep running out of other people's money. And I would remind the ranking member who tells us that everything is great, that when Donald Trump left office, gasoline cost $2.39 a gallon, inflation was 1.4%, a 30-year mortgage cost 1.9%, America was energy independent, and our borders were secure. And the ultimate question that will decide this issue will be asked of the American people, and it's a simple one. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? But more importantly, I want to speak of the budget process itself. This is not a theoretical discussion, and the budget is not an aspirational document, as so many past and failed budget chairs have wrongly stated. The Budget Act is, in fact, the single most powerful and practical fiscal tool that Congress has because it encompasses the entire federal spending plan and provides us with effective means to control spending if we choose to use it. The budget sets limits on both discretionary and mandatory spending. Discretionary limits bind the Appropriations Committee and forbid those levels from being exceeded. Mandatory limits bind the authorizing committees and command them to produce the statutory reforms necessary to fit within those limits. Either the authorizing committees act and their work's put into the Reconciliation Act, or else the Budget Committee acts in their place. The appropriations bills and the Reconciliation Act then go to the Senate, they're modified there, and the differences are resolved in conference. The last time this process was followed, it produced the only 4 balanced budgets our country has seen in more than half a century. Let us pray that we can do so again and that it's not too late to avert the fiscal disaster that awaits us if we fail. I yield back.